Hey, so welcome to the VET S.O.S. We are now presenting Operation Startup. We are Operation Startup now. So remember, don't drown in the sea of transition. Grab the VET S.O.S. Lifeline. Operation Startup is proud to be affiliated with the Neil Haley Show and sponsored by Spirit Point Solution. Spirit Point Solution is a one-stop shop for cutting-edge products, services, and training from multiple vendors. That includes your AI training, to corporate gifts, and so much more. They have everything you need to help your organization thrive in a modern economy. Check out all the valuable offerings at spearpointonline.com. I'll say that once again, Spear, SPEAR, pointonline.com. And remember to use our code VET S.O.S. or anything that you purchase there. That will help us continue our mission in improving the lives of those who have served. So on today's show, we have Mr. Eknauth Persaud. He is, before founding Rent My Software, Mr. Eknauth served in our Marine Corps, where he was the concept of commander's intent, shaped the way he approached leadership and now software development. For 23 years, Mr. Eknauth has helped business leaders, entrepreneurs, and investors discern what they actually need to take the operation to the next level. He offers clients an affordable option to acquire software. Mr. Eknauth launched rentmysoftware.com as a new financial model to rent custom software at a fraction of the price of building something or trying to connect together multiple apps. How you doing today, Mr. Eknauth?
I'm outstanding. Thank you.
Absolutely. So we're gonna hop right into the interview really quick. So I want you to take me back really quick, 23 years ago, or however long it's been since you retired, started your business. Tell me, what were the three biggest lessons that you learned in your transition from your military life to civilian life, what we call civilian life, and how did they shape you and who you are today?
Yeah, I think we're always kind of connected back to to our service. But I'll tell you, when I was in, obviously there was plenty of chaos. So once in a while there was a bit of hurry up and wait,
Mm-hmm.
and but I think most of the time there was a sense of purpose, right? Like there was a sense of expectations, and I think the most important part was culture. And I would say that, to me, the Marine Corps means a lot to me. And I'd say we built our companies around this whole concept of commander's intent. And it was the first time I heard that phrase of commander's intent was when I was in the Marine Corps. And it just really, it resonated with me because it felt like to me that this is sort of our form of servant leadership. It's really being able to climb inside someone's head, understand what they need and not necessarily what they wanted. So my old joke used to be, if you were my commanding officer and I wanted to piss you off, I would do what you tell me. But if I wanted to serve you well, I would try to figure out what you needed and
Mm-hmm.
then be able to anticipate it and then just be ready for you. So that this culture, the culture, I realized was one of the biggest lessons I've learned, coming out of business. And part of that is why we're made in USA as a software company.
Got you. Okay. So let's talk. So let's talk about, you talked about culture. Take me back to the moment where that entrepreneur light fired up inside of you. I mean, what was going on in your life at the time? What decided to what did you decide to do to make you want to build your own entrepreneurship instead of going, the safe route? Because coming out of the military, most of us hear the thing saying, "Hey, get your government contracting job. You can get your time counted for. You can get a government job." What made you not go that route, which most people do, to actually be an entrepreneur?
It's funny you mentioned that. For a while, I worked at IBM Federal Systems, and we got acquired by Lockheed Martin. So in a
Okay.
sense, I was going from college to that safe job, and so I was working as an engineer. I'm a civil engineer by background, and I worked in more with systems at that time. But I'll tell you what, with the spark of becoming a business owner was I got laid off.
Oh
And
wow.
so that was that I tell you that kind of lights something underneath this. So you gotta
It's so yes.
I think what's funny is my gut told me that if I ever started a business, it would be really difficult. But thankfully I underestimated how difficult it would be. So it's been an interesting thing. So for me, um when you become an accidental entrepreneur, when you become a business owner, you realize that you've got to learn about entrepreneurship. And for so many years, for me, it's been about, operating the company. I love what we do, and I've been grateful to do it. And so, I began by just, independent consulting when I was laid off. And
Hmm.
then one gig led to the next. And then pretty soon I was hiring people. And so we've got about 30 employees now. But, over that journey, I realized that it would have been awesome if I had learned the notion of entrepreneurship, how to prepare for it, what the concept is. And so, even for my kids today, that's a big part of what I, try to teach them is just this concept of what is entrepreneurship. And it doesn't mean you have to do it. And
Hmm.
it's certainly not right for everyone. But, I've had, as you mentioned, 23 years, I feel old now of doing this, but yeah, and since then, I've went on to kind of form some other companies with the perspective of being more entrepreneurial, right? So this main business, that's the operating company that's been around forever, but I have launched a couple of businesses since then, and I'm trying to approach it differently based on that. I guess based on that spark or absence of knowledge I had when the spark was put out to me.
Got you. Okay. So now that you're in the thick of it, I mean, you really didn't have a choice but to become an entrepreneur. You got laid off, and then the lack of knowledge you mentioned. What's been the most rewarding part about being an entrepreneur? Like, what's that thing that wakes you up every day, ready for you to tackle the day each day?
So I'm maybe being a Marine, I'm kind of a glutton for punishment, um, but I seriously though, I love to learn. I think to me that is the most addictive, rewarding, and fun thing that I do.
Mhm.
And so we're already in this industry of software development, right? Things are changing all the time. And so if you've got short attention, this is like short attention span theater. It's awesome because there's going to be something different out there all the time. But I'm addicted to learning. I love it. It's the most rewarding thing. And every time, I think I have an idea of what's going on, I run into something that I haven't seen before. And that to me is super exciting. And I'll let me pick on one thing for a moment.
Yeah.
When you operate your business, a lot of times you're doing the service aspect of it, right? Like you're serving your clients, you're climbing into their head, you're delivering them a product or a service. And but you don't think about the business as a whole, like you're working in the business, on the business. And so
Mhm.
when we started, one of the companies that I started is an investment company. And so this investment company, think of it like a family office where we deploy capital into other businesses to help them grow. But in order to find the right business to invest in order to to help them be successful, you've got to learn about how they operate their business. And so now
Mhm.
I've found that I'm learning a lot more about operating a company by investing in them and really kind of being that outsider kind of looking in. And so that to me is yet a new level I feel like I've unlocked in my head about a different level of learning. And that
Got
is super exciting to me.
got you. So now you mentioned you know, going to entrepreneur. And we all know that being an entrepreneur is not always sunshine and rainbows. There's some tough times when those sales are not coming in and things are not happening the way we expect to or the way we're used to as a formal being in the military where we get a check every first and 15th. What's been the hardest part for you about being an entrepreneur and how did you deal with that?
Yeah, it is, and those are some of the challenges. I'll tell you, the hardest thing is marketing, right? Marketing is hard.
Mm,
And I think for us, really getting that ideal client to find us, that's the core difficulty. And maybe just because I don't know what I'm doing, right? So, um, but we are looking for a very particular client, right? We want someone that's motivated, right? Someone who's kind of driven to build elite operations within their company, right? Like, so the software we build is operations software. And so if you think about things like work and process management, cost accounting, you really think about whether it's construction companies, some of the trades that are involved in construction. You think about distribution companies, manufacturing. There's this so-called concept of work and process,
mhm,
and so when we focus on that type of customer who's really number one, recognizes that they could do better. They're leaving something on the table with those operations. Finding them has been really difficult. So in a way, it's
Mhm.
kind of like our clients are also the few, and they are proud of the work that they do. But it is a struggle to get people to find us. And so our solution, or at least what we practice toward, is just getting a bit more involved in the community, networking, connecting with other businesses, trying to find people that are complementary to us. And so, we are both seeking, for example, that customer, that work in process operations customer that wants better operations, that's impatient with the way things are. So really connecting in the community is something that we're working more diligently on. And I think that's something that we just are going to continue to evolve and develop and figure out how to do a better job with.
Got you. Got you. So now, did when you did decide to start the business, did you plug into any veteran program, mentorships, that helped you launch that business? And any that you would recommend to our viewers or listeners out there?
Yeah, yeah. No, this is where we fell short again, right? Is where we fell short was not plugging into
Mhm,
some of that veterans community early on. And, we later joined a group called the National Marine Corps Business Network, and I served as the president of the Dallas Fort Worth chapter of the National Marine Corps Business Network. And really, part of the catalyst for me joining was just to help other Marines out. And I'd encountered other Marines over the years that also started businesses. So for us, the idea was like, hey, I want to hook up with this group. I want to be able to meet other people. I want to help other Marines that have started businesses as well or developing their companies. And I started tracking them down. So
mhm,
one thing I would suggest to really any of our listeners is that you look around and see if there's other groups that are involved in business, and even a simple thing would be just go on LinkedIn, look for other veterans that are in the area that have businesses. And I've found that I send them a message and say, hey,
mhm,
good to see another Marine in business. And then they reply back, we get a phone call going, we spend a few minutes, and we just learn about each other and try to figure out, how you can help them. And that's super fun. So to me, we all have this common bond, from prior service, but when you add in that business owner element to it, that just
mhm.
just adds to that sort of that commonality.
Absolutely. I definitely agree with you on that one. So now tell us more about your business, exactly what it is you do, who do you serving, who your type of customer, and I mean, are there any other companies what you have?
Yeah. So our main business is this one called Ayoka Systems, Ayoka Systems, and that's the one that's been around for a while, right? And so we build custom software, and so this is all custom operation software. This is what runs companies, right? And for years we would tell people, hey, look, if you can't buy a product, we can build it. We can build your ideal product, right?
Mhm,
And now with rentmysoftware.com, we can tell people, hey, if you can't buy it, we can build it. If you can't afford to have it built, we can rent it. So with rentmysoftware.com, that's our latest business, and that allows people to rent custom operations software. So if they want to kind of run their business more efficiently than trying to, glue together a bunch of applications,
mhm,
or maybe trying to get something off the shelf where you have a lot more features than you really need, we really kind of focus on streamlining those operations and taking companies to the next level. So to us, it's very exciting. We're in an exciting time with a lot more AI as well. And the best part about AI is that it makes it it's easier to construct software, but what it does is it gives you more time to focus in on their higher purpose. That's commander's intent. And because that's the way we started the business, our culture is built around it. The beauty of having AI is it lets us focus on what we love, which is serving our clients. Really, we can focus on the business operations, and no one needs to even think about technology anymore,
mhm,
particularly with my software. So our favorite customers, like I mentioned, people in distribution, manufacturing, really any kind of blue collar business we love. And, part of it's because I grew up, working with my dad in construction, renovating old buildings in upstate New York. I'm comfortable on a job site. And our employees, well, they have no choice but to be comfortable on a job site, because we'll go out there, because the best way to build software is to really be on site hand in hand with your customers. And so that's our world. Like I said, it's maybe not as glamorous as what is it in the olden days, working at a magazine or an entertainment company.
Mhm.
But this is us. This is what we do. But
Got you. So now for anyone that's listening or watching on YouTube, where should they go to learn more about you and connect with you, and where should they go for that?
sure. So best way to do it is you can hit me up on LinkedIn. If you can type in EKNAUTH, you'll find me there. There should only be one. So that go to LinkedIn, EKNAUTH, or you can just go to rentmysoftware.com, and it's kind of, like it's spelled, rentmysoftware.com. Click the contact us button, and then it'll flow to me or my admin. And I just love to connect. And, if you're even exploring the idea of being an entrepreneur, reach out to me. If you're looking at being an investor, maybe building up a real estate portfolio, I know a bunch of people in this area, and I think the important thing is that we try to help each other out.
Got you. Got you. So for the last thing here, what's one piece of advice you would give to our listeners, viewers on becoming an entrepreneur?
I think, wow, that's a great question. Um, there's so many things I wish I'd known. Um, Sales is number one.
Mm,
That is the most important thing, because you can have the greatest service, you can have the greatest product in the world. And what sales in my mind means is understanding how to serve people. If you believe you have an offering that will improve something for people, start those conversations early. The beauty of being in a software services, or no, forget software, any kind of services business, professional
mhm.
services business, is that it doesn't take that much startup capital. You can talk to people, ask their advice, and really see if what you have to sell, whether it's a service or a product, resonates with them, and really kind of develop and hone in on you on those sort of skills. Really figure out that your commander's intent, right? Your customers are your commander, and you are the who that helps them get toward their better state.
Got you. Got you. We appreciate that piece of advice. We want to thank Mr. Eknauth for joining us here on the VET S.O.S. Operation Startup today. On behalf of the VET S.O.S. family, we'd like to thank everyone for joining us. You can find the VET S.O.S. podcast on all your favorite podcast platforms, YouTube, and all your social media platforms. And when you go there, make sure you subscribe and follow the VET S.O.S. so you don't miss anything. Remember, don't transition.